Hey folks, this is Vincent Adelie with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Abiotic Factor. This is a game that you can find on Steam's Early Access program for about 25 bucks or so. There is a Core Keeper Abiotic Factor bundle, so if you own Core Keeper already, you can get Abiotic Factor for slightly cheaper. So what is Abiotic Factor? Well, I covered this game, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that was like a single player first impressions. Idly and I have been playing co-op for about, I want to say the last week or two, and I think we've sunk over 30, 40 hours total into this so far. I have 45 hours on record right now, and we've reached the end of the early access content at this point, and I think I'm ready now to actually give a review, even though all of the content isn't in yet. Based on what I've played, I'm more than happy to share my thoughts. So here's the main menu real quick. I already showed this off prior, but just pause if you want to see any of this in greater detail. There's a lot of accessibility options, which is great. Gameplay options, graphics, like there's so much here. So and this puts some AAA games to shame in the sense that you've got all of these options in the settings menu, and then there are some AAA games that can't even add something like motion blur. I'm looking at you, EA, especially with your Jedi Survivor series, just because like that game is poorly optimized and they're charging 50-60 bucks for it. But then you've got a game like this where you've got the options and all that. So I'm glad that there are indie developers out there that know their crap and know what they're doing. As far as customizing your character, once you get past the tutorial, you'll be able to like customize a lot of different things about your character, and you can even go back and change it so you're not locked into any particular look. However, you are locked into what profession you decide to play as, and the different professions, job skill, whatever you want to call it. There's like a project zomboid, choose your profession, and then choose your perks. I can't show you that here because I'm not starting a new character today, but go check out my prior video so that you can see some of that. What I am going to do is load a game and jump into our co-op session. It says we've been playing that co-op session for about 28 hours. So it took us 28 hours to reach the end of the early access stuff, but keep in mind, I'm a huge base builder, and I purposely take my time when I do that, just because that's what I really like about these kinds of games. I love the base building. I think actually Ida Lee said that, and she can attest to this. She said someone speed ran the content in, what was it, 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
11 minutes and something seconds.
So so if you know what you're doing, you can complete the current content quickly. But I mean, the journey is base building and discovery and all that stuff. So I have a feeling that when they speed ran that, they knew what they were doing already and knew what to do. So the server is up if you want to join it. I am not going to go out and show you anything in the environment only because I don't want to spoil the exploration side to this. I want to show you mainly what our base looks like right now so that you have something to look forward to later down the line. And again, we've built most of everything at this point. There's various workbenches, like here's the main crafting bench, and there's so many different materials that you'll eventually unlock. But there's even bench upgrades. And these benched upgrades are kind of important because one of them suppresses portals around your base. Every so often, you'll be attacked by, it'll say like something smells in the air tonight or something like that. And then it's like a wave defense kind of thing. And there is one wave, it's random. It'll choose an enemy type and then throw it at you. One of which is like these small little critters that sort of spin around, jump around. They actually portal right into your base, which is bad. So, yeah, there she is. She's got her katana sword there. But yeah, you can farm in this game. These are the larger farms, and you can grow tomatoes and other cool things. Again, I'm trying not to spoil too much for you. You're going to be picking up these water coolers, and what's cool is that you can freely, for the most part, pick things up and bring them back to your base so that you have these things for later. There is a skill tree in this game. So as you do things, like as you sprint, As you are encumbered, you gain strength. As you throw things, as you sneak, as you attack things with blunt or sharp melee weapons, or as you fire your firearms, you unlock new perks in those trees. So that's really cool. So it actually gives you something to shoot for. There's also sandbox settings, and I have those to where items in the environment will respawn over time. And even though the game says it's probably a bad idea to do this because things will float or whatever, like for example, this PC monitor reappeared here in the crate. But it's not that big of a deal. Just destroy it, it'll come back. But it's a way of regenerating materials, and I actually prefer that because it is possible to get like, I don't want to say soft locked, but like you may be crafting a bunch of something and then not realize I need this material for something else and now I can't find it. So the ability for things to respawn in the environment is huge, and I recommend turning that on if you're a casual player like me that doesn't want to worry too much. So anyway, getting back to this whole tab menu thing, here's the inventory system. You can find backpacks in the environment to increase your inventory space. There's various armor pieces that you can find and equip. Some of them have a set piece bonus, which is kind of cool. There is a headlamp, which here it is. Put that on. You don't get that till later in the game, but there's that. Eventually, you get charging stations. You can craft your own at some point, but typically you'll find these crafting stations in the environment. And then you can put items that you need charged there. I think everything's full right now. But anyway, yeah, it's the amount of things that are in this game are both overwhelming and amazing at the same time. And like the ambiance, even though this is like Half-Life 2 graphics, whatever that particular style is called, like I'm fine with it. It's not like Minecraft to where like everything's destructible. Rather, it's just more simple looking than most. There's also needs in this game. You have a hunger need, you have a thirst need, I'll just pull that up. Hunger, thirst, bathroom, and sleep are your main ones. There are other buffs and debuffs that you may get over time. There's also a temperature mechanic, so your character needs to stay warm, not too hot, not too cold, kind of stay in that Goldilocks zone. You'll find so much loot along the way you don't know what to do with, so you may want to hole up in a base. Like, you can make a base anywhere you want. But some places are safer than others. So you kind of have to make a judgment call and go, is it safe to set up here? And if you see enemies patrolling the area regularly or enemies respawning nearby, then you may not want to build a base there. It all depends. It's up to you completely on what you want to do. So that's the extent of it. Again, there was a story, and it took us about 25 to 28 hours to get through it, some of which was a little frustrating only because we didn't know where to go next or what to do next. And the complex is so big and made up of so many different rooms, and like everything is so confusing. Like sometimes, like, how did I get to that area? I don't remember how I got there. Now I can't find it again. That's the biggest thing for me, is finding my way around this god awful complex. It's so confusing at times, and there is a couple of platforming things, but it's nothing like Super Mario Brothers where it's life dependent. But there are some instances where you have to think outside the box, maybe platform, maybe build some ramps or some bridges to get over something. But there's no like this isn't Portal to where you have to like manipulate this to get this and shoot this laser over here. There is one laser puzzle, but that's not till the end of the current early access stuff. So with all of that being said, I'm going to weigh in and just simply say that this game is totally worth the $25 it's asking for. Better if you can get it on a sale. Ida Lee, what were your thoughts on this game?
I love this game.
Why?
It's it's so exploratory. It has such a okay, where's this at? Oh, I gotta go to bed, but I have to explore this place. Like there's a lot of new stuff. And it's kind of shocking how much this game expands and it's in early access. Um, and then even then, once you explain or once you expand and do all this sort of things, you kind of just want to stay put and build up your base. You know, you want to
Hmm.
craft. There's a bunch of crafting. There's a survival need element, like you said, and there's just all sorts of things you can do in this game. And I love the customization settings where you can um, kind of play as hardcore as you want or as easy as you want.
Yeah, the
So,
sandbox settings I did create it somewhat lax. So like, I
mhm.
halved the food and water need. I halved a lot of things so that it's easier to get around and yeah. So like, I made our experience pretty much easier than what it should be. But even then, it took us 25, 30 hours to do what we were doing, and there was some issue. There were some parts where we had trouble defeating the enemy, and like I couldn't imagine trying to do it on normal settings, to be honest with you.
Mm-mm.
But then again, I'm not that hardcore. Is
Mhm.
there anything you didn't like about it, or anything that frustrated you, or?
Mm. So there are some shortcuts in the game that are kind of like, what the heck? I would have never found this. I wish did have waypoints. I wish it had pings. I wish this game had pings where you can ping other players.
Hmm.
Um, I wish that it had more of a compass or a mini map type of thing because it is so easy to get turned around in this game. It really is.
Yeah, see, there's a tablet that you can access, but it doesn't actually show individual rooms. It doesn't like, in Ark Survival Evolved, you can build a cartography table and then like put waypoints. There are some survival games where you can right click on a map, set a waypoint, like 7 Days to Die, and then share that waypoint with other people. I barely go into this tablet because it's not helpful at all. It's more of a quest log than an actual map, which I don't like. Like, you do pick up maps, but it's like it doesn't show individual rooms. It just shows, here's the lobby, here's the wildlife pens, here's the collider access hallway, but it doesn't actually like give. There is no map that gives a room by room accounting, and you can't like right click on those rooms in this map, this hypothetical map, and put notes, this is where you find this material, or this is where you find this other. I think that's a quality of life feature that really needs to be in the game to give us more
Mhm.
utility, and to organize things. We were just talking this morning about, we were probably going to create signs all over the place. Like, we have this stuff, DGA stuff, don't touch. We're going to
Mhm.
create that sign and put it everywhere so that we have directions on, like, how do you get here? How do you get there? Like, just so that we know we're not going to get lost and we know where things are. So I have a feeling we're going to do that, but that shouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
Again, there are survival games that already have this system in place.
It
And
seems, I'm sorry, real quick. It
mhm,
seems that you actually have to use this map in conjunction with mapping your own map, on Paint program or on Notepad or whatever. And because that's the case, it's like, why even have a map at that point in the
right.
game?
No, I agree.
So,
I mean, yeah,
mhm.
there's no mini map. I was waiting for something. I was waiting to unlock something, but it just never happened. So yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend this game. The combat, was it too janky for you, or are you fine with it?
I'm fine with the combat. It's really hard to aim. It's really hard to do things, but it's not as it's relaxed. It's pretty relaxed. So if you hit something and you kind of miss, you're still hitting it, which is fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things where it clips and it glitches and I'm not hitting something, and that can be a little frustrating. But eventually, if you persist, you end up getting it, and it's like kind of nice. But it is kind of fun to see to wail on something, and it has a satisfying feeling of, yeah, I killed it, and yeah, I got XP for it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love the XP leveling system in the game. I think that's what really keeps me playing too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I never played Half-Life 2. I have dabbled with these kind of graphics before, and while they're not the prettiest and it's not my go-to, I don't mind because the game is so huge and expansive, and so It's fine with me. I don't even notice it. I actually think it's better than Minecraft with Minecraft textures, so it's fine.
Hmm. Yeah, I like the survival elements to this game as well, and that keeps me coming back. One thing that you commented on before was the minigame, like the toilet minigame, where
Oh my
you go to
God,
sit
yeah.
down, you don't have to. It just takes longer. But if you play the minigame, then you finish your bathroom session faster. When you go to sleep, you actually jump over objects like I guess counting sheep, you're counting aliens or whatever and jumping over them. So like it just makes this whole sleep process go faster. So
Hmm.
I mean it's unnecessary, but at the same time I guess it's there to I mean it's there. I don't know what else to say about that.
I love it. I honestly love it because it just gives you the option. Like, do you want to just like take your time with it, or do you want to actually just hurry up and do this mini game real quick so you can wake up faster, or take a poop faster? So it's really funny, and I like that. I think it's really funny. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I also love that you can pretty much like almost anything in the environment, desks, chairs, filing cabinets, you can disassemble filing cabinets, assuming that there's a percentage chance it'll break when you do this, but that reduces every time you level up I think it's construction. So sometimes you'll break it, which just happened right now, and other times you can pick it up and bring it back to your base and use it as a storage device. I love stuff like that. So I went around for like an hour, like maybe 1 out of 10 filing cabinets that didn't break, I would bring back and use it as an early storage system. Rather than creating my own chests, I just would find them in the environment. Whichever ones didn't break on me, I brought back. I love that.
Hmm.
There is a day and night cycle in this game. So during the day, it's fairly tame aside from the monsters that you find in the environment. But at night, these robots come out and will mess up your day, and they're really tough unless you know how to deal with them. Traps are super important in this game. There's Tesla traps. There's a spinny blade trap kind of thing. There's a battery electricity system in this game, so make sure like power shuts off at night. There are wall sockets, but they stop providing power at night, so you need batteries in order to keep your things running at night. I love that aspect of it too. So yeah, there's just so much about this game that I really like, and even though we've reached the end of our early access content, I want to keep playing it so I can create more mini bases and prepare for the next content update whenever that is.
Hmm.
So that's all I really have to say about it. Again, I'm trying not to spoil too much. I mean, I am trying to show you guys around, but at the same time, like, I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah.
So I recommend this game. If you can get it on a sale, I got it for like 10 or 20% off, I think, on Green Man Gaming, or it was one of those. It might have been Fanatical. So I got the game cheaper on one of those sites. So if you can get the game cheaper, great. This will provide many hours of entertainment and fun, assuming you like base building, assuming you like exploration. As long as you can get past, I mean, if you're used to Ark Survival Evolved, it has to be realistic graphics. This game may not be for you. But even still, like, this game proves that The Long Dark, like, games like The Long Dark don't need crazy high graphics to be good. The Long Dark is like just it's pixely too, kind of like this, and it's still
Is it?
beautiful. Hmm? It's
I
it's
don't
not
notice the
it's
long
not
dark.
it's not pixelated, but it's also not realistic. It's not like Call of Duty level, like
Yeah.
it's not as realistic as Call of Duty, for example. But
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
still beautiful enough to where it's nice to look at, and everything's. So.
It has a voxel like feel to it
Hmm.
where it's blocky but not too blocky. So it's pixely but still not as pixely. It's hard to say. It's hard to describe. But I don't know. I really like it. I like the camera, the way that the camera moves. There's a lot of first person games where your chin is practically on the floor. And I hate that. And this has the right height, and I really appreciate that. I still have vertigo with games like these when it comes to first person, and I still suffer from that with this game, but I can still play it for a really long time too before
Hmm.
needing a break. So, yeah.
That's good.
And I love that you can pick up paintings and even arcade cabinets at one point and bring them back here.
Hmm.
And in case you're wondering, The Dead Linger, Detour, Unfortunate Spaceman, these are the previous games the developers. I hesitate to use the word release because The Dead Linger, they abandoned that game. So when I discovered that prior to buying this, I'm like, well, why should I play Abiotic Factor or buy it if they're just going to drop it the same way they did with The Dead Linger? And I was pleasantly surprised that they did as much with this game as they didn't do with their prior game. So I'm hopeful that they finish this project because it's big, it's massive, but it's also
Hmm.
really good.
I really hope that they continue updating it because this is a gem. It really is.
Yeah, it's one of the best survival games I've ever played. It
Hmm.
really is.
I wasn't expecting much. I really wasn't. And the amount of times that this game has scared me, like I don't to to be fair, like when I get scared with these kind of graphics, it shouldn't mean much. It really shouldn't. But the scares in this game, it's not jump scares, it's more like, oh my gosh, what is that in the distance? And even though the graphics are not that great,
Mm-hmm.
it still gives off that terrifying what the crap is that in the distance type of feel, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So
So
it has that going for it.
awesome. So I think that's all I have. I don't want to show off too much, but like I said, if you can get this game for cheaper than the 25, great. But I still think $25 for. I mean, at this point, I have dollar per dollar like playtime versus money spent. Again, I got the game for like $20 or so on a sale, and I have 30 almost 30 hours into it. So if that's an average of like less than $1 per hour played at this point, with many more to come. So it's totally worth it in my opinion. It's not like you're going to get 4 hours out of this and that's it. You will get a lot of playtime out of this. So, well, there you go, folks. That was our co-op review of Abiotic Factor. If you happen to get this, let me know on my Discord channel because I'm really curious to see what you think about it. Well, this is Vincent Ida Lee. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.